Hey everyone, this is Lindsay Suda. I am the social media manager for People to People. Today I am lucky enough to have Chaz Lum out of our DC office with me, and we're going to be diving into a leadership program that he manages, the Tech Summit out in Stanford. Chaz, you want to say hello and how long you've been with the company and what all you do?
Hi, everybody. My name is Chaz Lum, program manager, as Lindsay mentioned, here in the DC office. I manage a variety of programs, one of which, as Lindsay mentioned, is our technology program at Stanford University in California. We've coming up on about 5 years now running this program, and it's been a really great program. We kind of evolved it year over year, and it's really come into itself, and I'm really looking forward to chatting about it today.
Awesome, thank you. And so, People to People, we offer a lot of different student travel programs. We do international ones, and we do leadership ones, which is sometimes kind of confusing just to differentiate where the differences are between them. So could you just, anyone who doesn't know what our leadership ambassador programs are, Chaz, could you just do a brief explanation of what the goal is for them?
Sure, sure. And, you know, I think all of our programs have some sort of leadership aspect to them, of course. But our domestic programs have kind of been, since they launched in 2002, been more known as leadership ambassador programs for a couple of reasons. Our primary goal with these programs isn't as much to kind of integrate students into the cultural aspects that we do as much internationally, but really ingrain them and prepare them for college, the admissions process. They learn to lead, engage, act, prepare for important things in life. Much of which obviously revolves around college, the admissions process, and getting a leg up on other students too as they venture into new worlds.
Absolutely. No, that's a good point. And we offer, I know we offer leadership programs domestically all around the country, and the one that we're going to be diving into is in the beautiful Bay Area of California. And as you mentioned before, you do manage a variety of leadership programs. So what about the Tech Summit really makes it special, and what do you love about it?
Sure. Well, you know, I think all the program managers really have a really unique connection to the programs that they manage. Of course, technology certainly is one of my favorites. So I'm of course biased, but that's why you're having me here. So I'm a bit of a techie myself. I did not go to school for engineering, however. I wasn't a mathlete by any stretch of the word, but you know, I follow the tech blogs. I'm very into tech. I've always got the latest and greatest iPhones when they come out.
I'm always jealous too.
And so, you know, I follow the tech blogs and whatnot. So I was really keen to kind of start working on this program. Travel to Silicon Valley to kind of meet these contacts, which isn't easy. You know, a lot of these tech companies revolve around intellectual property, and they hold that so dear. So, you know, getting them to allow a bunch of high school students into their headquarters with cameras and what else can always be a challenge. But the technology program in particular is really unique in that it comes. It's an interdisciplinary program, so it's not a mathematics program. It's not an engineering program at its heart, but it takes a lot of different aspects. One thing that you've heard recently, a big buzzword is STEM. You know, science, technology, engineering, math. You know, it's STEM, STEM, STEM. We want to make sure that as America we stay current in the world, because we're not very current in the world as far as comparative to other countries, especially in Europe. Of how we educate our students in that aspect. But another part you're hearing a lot is STEAM, which has arts kind of integrated into it. So you can't forget creativity and the impact that it has on ability to evolve. Sure, you can sit down and write code at a computer, and that's extremely important and very high paying these days. But the ability to kind of come up with creative content, stay on the leading edge for any company or individual trying to keep up in today's marketplace is extremely important. So.
Yeah, the innovation aspect of it, you know, getting those creative juices going with the technical background. Yeah, that's a really So on that, if a student or parent's watching this and meeting us and hearing about the program, you know, who should apply for the Technology Summit? What kind of student?
Sure, anybody with an interest in technology and in the broad sense, really. They don't have to be on the Robotics Club. They don't have to be winners in the Robotics Club. They don't have to be in the Chess Club. They don't have to be at the top of the game in the Mathematics Club. But students with a determined interest in learning more about technology or some aspects of technology that they might want to consider in a career are all great fits. So I've seen students on program have a variety of ranges. I've seen award-winning national champion robotics students, and I've seen students that have never had their hands on robotics, all working together for kind of the greater good, working on their projects together. So anyone with a really unique interest in any field in technology, whether it be software development or whatnot, that's obviously one of the bigger ones. But anybody with a concerted interest in technology.
Excellent. You mentioned earlier that Bay Area is obviously a huge tech hub for America in the world, and we gain some pretty amazing and exclusive access to some of the biggest companies in the world. So if you just want to kind of do a run through of some of the companies that the ambassadors have been able to gain access to over the years, and if you can leak us any that are coming up in the next year, just for a little behind-the-scenes info for the students.
Sure, I'd be happy to. This is one of the things we're really proud of, I think, is we've worked very hard to form these relationships. Adobe Education has been extremely willing to work, extremely great at working with since we started the program, actually. They actually let us into their headquarters. One of their chief, I think they call him the Vice President of Creativity, maybe that's a self-determined title, but Mark Randall, he's a brilliant mind, TED speaker. He'll talk to the students on occasion. Also, as I mentioned, their education team will actually let our students have access to apps in development that aren't even released in the wild yet, and let them have tablets to kind of experiment, come up with creative activities on, and basically use our students as kind of a test for some of this equipment, but also allowing them to be creative and think proactively about how they might use this type of equipment. So that's one really great aspect, and I'll always lead with Adobe because they've been fantastic. But it's actually, we've gone a lot of different places, getting access to game companies like Electronic Arts and Zynga over the years. Electronic Arts now sends speakers to see us on Stanford's campus, where we've had executive producers of games like Dead Space and the Battlefield series speak to our students, which is fantastic and a really cool opportunity. I'm a gamer myself, so I get excited about that.
Yeah.
But companies like Facebook, just in the last couple of years, have been really great to work with. We've sent at least one of our group's delegations in the last few years to Facebook headquarters. We heard from a gentleman named Paul, who is Paul Tarjan, who's I believe he's one of the creators of the like button, or was on the team, which is obviously a very significant part of Facebook and what most people are kind of familiar with when it comes to their branding. To hear from him on how he got there, what it's about, and what avenues he took to get where he is at Facebook. And last year we had our first tour of the facility at Facebook for our second summit, which was fantastic. These are just a couple of the companies, obviously pretty big giants in the Silicon Valley, but we've also heard from speakers from Apple. We haven't gained access to their campus, so I want to be very clear on that. Their intellectual property is probably the most protected of everyone, as most people know. But just being able to hear from speakers from these type of big Fortune 500 type companies is a really neat experience. Not to mention Stanford professors as well who've supported our program, including the Dean of the Dean of Engineering, and Stanford Media X as well, holding workshops and doing lectures with our students. It's really, really fantastic, and that's one of the things that we're probably most proud about is the access that we gain to some of the most brilliant minds in Silicon Valley.
And kudos to you to that, because you're the one who's working all those relationships, so that's great.
It's a team effort, for sure.
No, I know. So you mentioned that it's not just sitting in lectures all day either. The Tech Summit, which is, they're going to have a really enriching time, listening and interacting with these folks. But also, there's a lot of hands-on element to the summit as well. So, could you just go into a couple of the more hands-on, techie things that the ambassadors get to do together?
Sure, absolutely. So, all of our programs, not just technology at Stanford, have core components to them. One of them is the leadership aspect and teamwork. And also service as well. So I can touch on those real briefly too, and then kind of dig into some more of the cool tech stuff. But they'll a lot of the programs have like a team building aspect, so they'll go to, in the case of the technology program, I think for 2015 we'll probably be going back to the same place. And it'll be Pacific Leadership Institute in San Francisco, where they do team building, ropes course, icebreakers. That's done very early in the program to get the students familiar with each other, break boundaries. Sometimes we'll have a large contingent of international students, so it's a really great way to break up any cliques or kind of break the lunchroom segmentation thing that tends to happen with students in groups, which is natural and normal, but obviously it's something we strive to kind of break down those barriers and have students working together. So there's that aspect with the team building very early on in the program, and that carries through the whole program and all the projects they do as well. But also service, giving back to the community. We've worked with San Francisco Food Bank for this particular program. We've worked with Half Moon Bay Restoration Foundation to actually, in some cases, weed out, literally, invasive species at Half Moon Bay. Beautiful, beautiful place, very close to Stanford's campus, where students will have half day or so of working hands-on in the local to better the local environment and the local flora and fauna, and learning alongside national park folks as well. And then the San Francisco Food Bank, on occasion, will work with them and box up goods for the needy, which is two great, very local things, and both close to all of our hearts at work at Stanford, and a great way to give back. Technology-wise, access-wise, beyond some of these company access and speaker access points, we do go to museums as well. The Tech Museum of Innovation, Computer History Museum, it's a fantastic museum. Are two at the top of my list that I can think of right now. Even visiting Intel's headquarters to see the first microchip in person, and kind of the thing that started it all. I think it's called the 3003, if I'm correct. Microchip on display there, among some other items. But I'm very proud year over year. Obviously, technology is a very changing field, and it's certainly not something that remains static. So the program we created 5 years ago is not going to float in today's world unless you're evolving that. One of the things we're looking at, and it's not 100% sure for 2015, is specialized bicycle components. We wanted to get more into the mechanical engineering side of things. Certainly, we can talk about software ad nauseum, but understanding mechanical engineering, from getting them possibly access to some of the wind tunnel facilities, so they can learn more about how people at Specialized Bike Company hone their bikes for these people that win the Tour de France and the Roubaix and other really big name bike competitions. It's more than just wheels and a frame these days. It's all about aerodynamics and testing everything from the impact that a beard might have in a wind tunnel on a cyclist. Is just really amazing stuff. They're definitely in the cutting edge. They're based in the Silicon Valley area, and I've been in touch with them about possibly getting at the very minimum a speaker from Specialized, or possibly heading to their headquarters to see some of this stuff in person and have the audience of these great mechanical engineers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Really great, yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember seeing also building actual robots together in a team as a team building effort. I mean,
Sure.
Do they do that on every tech summit, or?
They do, and that is definitely a big part of it. The project they do, all of our programs have a particular project or theme, whether it be in our diplomacy program in a Model UN, or our leadership summits, and kind of a project to better their own communities. With this particular program, the way we have it themed right now is they will work in teams of 4 on to address an issue in society, whether it be mobility of the elderly, or whether it be recycling, sorting. They basically identify an issue that could be improved through the use of robotics, and over the course of the week, over the course of the 10-day program, they will work in these teams to ideate and come up with robots or a particular series of tasks that robots will do to help improve this. So whether it be I think the one I see every year, which is great, is like a folding robot. For people that may have advanced stages of things with their joints or something like that, and might have trouble with things like that. They have a robot where you just put a piece of laundry on it, and it'll actually fold it up I always see that one. That always impresses me, just because it's kind of grand looking.
It's impressive to me that they can build robots. Period. So
yeah, and we're using Lego Robotics too, which is a tried and true robot. It's very it's easy to understand, but it also gets you very easily into the understanding of the programming language. We were using in the past years we've been using NXT Mindstorms, Lego NXT. We are looking to, it's not 100% confirmed, but we're looking to upgrade possibly to the EV3 robots for the first time in 2015, both on our technology summits and our very exciting robotics programs too that we're launching in the DC area beginning in 2015 as well. So I'm really hopeful that we can start working with these newer robots. They're both great, and there's not a terribly huge difference, but it is the latest and greatest that have started to make their way into classrooms of America as students kind of start looking at this new software, new mechanics of these new robots. I think it's really cool. I'm hopeful and very excited about those.
That's great. So obviously we're packing a lot into a couple days of the summit. When the ambassadors, get into SFO and they all meet, every day is packed, chock full of activities and lessons and just fun stuff as well, just exploring San Francisco and the Bay Area. Yeah. So what do you have any, and you've done this I think for more than 5 years now, so do you have any tips that you'd give ambassadors interested in traveling on the Tech Summit or interested in any kind of leadership program on how they could do research or what they should be ready for? Sure.
Well, understanding the kind of, from a basic sense, knowing what the weather is probably the best thing I can tell them.
So true, especially in the Bay Area.
Yeah, because when they're at Stanford, the weather is like perfect. Of course, it's like 70s, 80s during the day, and then cool at night, so they can open their windows. And when they go into San Francisco, it can be a little chillier, especially in the day they do their team building project. It can actually be 30, 40 degrees cooler with a good bit of wind. But beyond the dressing and preparing for the climate, as far as what you can do to prepare for the program itself, I know we have means for our students to kind of go online and participate in activities, pre-program activities, and assignments, I should say, that help them prepare. So actually, some of these assignments that they do, I think there's 3, are directly relatable to the project that they do. I think the third and final assignment is directly relatable. So having those assignments kind of completed and understood before they run a program is really great, because then they can start having these dialogues with their academic leader and their teacher leaders in their small group time that really transcend kind of the showing up into a classroom cold and kind of going right into it. I think to kind of have that little extra edge and preparedness is great. It's it's not a deal breaker for the students that don't complete that. There's plenty of small group time, and just really coming into it with an open mind on a lot of different parts of tech. Students may come into the program with a specific focus, like, I want to be a software engineer, that's what I want to do. But as they may see, they'd be like, wow, nanotechnology sounds fantastic. I didn't even know there was all these different avenues. I had no idea that it was so up and urgent and upcoming. This is another thing I might want to consider too. So I think having an open mind, and that definitely applies to all of our leadership programs, is the best way to approach them. Because you're going to hear from some great people. You're going to learn from each other as well. The students never cease to amaze me. And that's one of the main reasons I chose to work for this company. Is I'd seen a lot of students working for other companies. I actually worked at a museum in Washington, D.C., where we received a lot of different companies and tour operators, and people students just blew me away, and they never ceased to do that. Now that I've been working with them for 5 years myself, actually.
It's true. They're pretty awesome. Yeah. I don't know how we get them, but yeah. No.
I don't know either. No. Of course, we're biased, of course.
We are a little biased, you're right. But
I've seen them all. They're awesome.
Yeah, and I'd say another really great aspect that you guys started in the last few years is, if a student and a parent, once they've decided that they want to do this together, the student go and the parent in support of it. You guys started a private Facebook group page specifically for that program. So, the enrolled student for next year, 2015, will have access, to leaders, to alumni, so they can ask questions, they can get prepared, which I think is just a really great, easy forum. Yeah. To talk and set expectations. So
yeah, I'm very glad you mentioned that. So, Facebook obviously has been around for a little while. But our incorporation of it on our programs is relatively new, I want to say, in the last 2-3 years. as you know, Lindsay, the master of all things social, got me introduced to Google+. I'd never even used it before. So yeah, we kind of started it with technology, which is kind of an obvious reason why. You know, the students are connected already, more so in that program than most programs. Not just Facebook, but you know, nowadays Instagram and all those other millions of different things that we could get into. But we really saw, both from a parent standpoint and a student standpoint, such great interaction on the Facebook page, particularly related to our technology program. It's just a really great resource. So if there's anybody that's kind of on the fence about the program, once you're enrolled, you can get access to the group itself, and then you can go on there and you can actually scroll through the feed all the way back to all the events that have happened the last, I think, 2 years on the program. So you'll see students sharing, parents sharing, and leaders sharing photos, and I think we post photos at the end of the programs as well on there that our bus cameras will take, or our leaders take on, that are designated with a bus camera. But it's a really great way to kind of get unfiltered access onto how great the programs really are. You know, we really don't moderate it much. We weren't sure how it would all kind of pan out, just kind of opening the floodgates, letting people go in and just share whatever and whenever. But it's just been amazing. It's been amazing. Our World Leadership Forum, when we launched last fall, now is almost 1,000 members, parents and students just chiming in. That's one of the things that makes my day and is the best part about what I do is when I see those parents and students take to those pages and just say what an impact it's had to them. And some of them will actually add me on Facebook. You know, Julian in particular, one of our students on our inaugural program, went on to get a full ride to Stanford. And I kind of chronicled his journey from 2011 to his getting into Stanford last year. That's just amazing. It's just amazing. Certainly one of the best things about I do. But
you brought up a good point too. Is that it also provides kind of, before, parents didn't really have access to what the kids were doing each day. You know,
Sure.
Now they get it. They get a window in when they're kiddos across the country, or when they're at if they're at Facebook, or if they're eating dim sum in Chinatown. They get that window in, which is really parents have really been excited about. And also, I mean, you get to know your leaders. We partner with some of the most amazing teacher leaders in the country, and they're there in advance to answer questions and just to get to know them on a personal level. So I'm glad that it's working out for you. So.
Yeah, it's really been great. Much more than just kind of dialing the 800 number, feeling like you're a part of this transaction. It's to be able to go in there and see that feedback and be part of it and have questions answered on the medium where people are is fantastic.
Yeah. Well, Chaz, thank you so much. I'm going to wrap things up now. I learned things that I didn't know about the 2015 program, and I'm really excited for them. I hope they come to fruition, and either way, it's going to be an amazing tech program as always. So anyone interested in watching now or later, you can get more information on the Tech Summit if you could visit peopletopeople.com/leadership. Chaz, is there any other good method that you would recommend? If you have any questions for Chaz or for me, you can leave them on us or on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/studenttravel, and we always answer questions there. So otherwise, we will wait until next year. We can see more pictures from Tech Program, and we'll be hearing from a couple more of your programs as well, Chaz.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it. Thanks for the opportunity, Lindsay.
Yeah, have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.